My mama helped my husband cheat on me. She let him meet the other woman at her apartment. She would call me and let me tell her how he disappeared. She would let me vent. She would let me tell her how he reappeared with no truth about where he was or what he was doing, just so she would know how much I knew to let him know if I was catching on. Well, I was catching on, but I didn't let her know. You know what, Mama? I played your game. I think you thought I was slow. And it disgusts you because you knew that he didn't love me, but you also knew that I was a great wife, better than you could ever be. And you could relate about him not loving me because you didn't love me either. I remember. So you treated me bad too. I didn't understand why until I understood the part you were playing helping him. You took on his energy. Mama, remember you flat my tires because you wanted me to be late for work taking you to play bingo? Well, Mama, I said I'd take you, but I wasn't moving fast enough. And all I did was ask you to use your restroom, and when I walked out, you were standing in the doorway smoking your cigarette, just looking over the balcony into the parking lot. It wasn't until I asked if you were ready, you didn't respond. I walked down the stairs, got into the car, and the tire light was on. While you stood there in the doorway, smoking your cigarette, staring over the balcony, I got out and said, Mama, did you flatten my tires? You put your cigarette out the door, went inside and slammed it. I cried that day, but that was the straw. I patiently waited to seep out that. Because I knew you were an agent, I was your only child, and because you were shacking for 30 years, not legal, they would call me to make decisions for you. That dreadful day when you took sick, they called me and said you needed 24-hour care. I remember when I was a kid, it was a nursing home that my grandma was at for a short period of time that you could not stand. You said the nurses were awful. They just left their patients, didn't rotate them. So many had bed sores, mixed up medicines because they didn't care enough to read their charts. There was a whole bunch of mess there and gossip about who was laying with who. The rating of 5 stars was a 1, and the mortality rate was through the roof. But because the causes were not suspicious, they were still open and accepting patients. Well, Mom, that's where I sent you. I think you forgot that you planned on me spending my money to care for you when you couldn't care for yourself when you got older. But you forgot you didn't raise me either. You left me at that hospital, and your mom had to come and get me. And when I divorced that man that you helped to try to ruin me, you tried to ruin my happiness about my new relationship, too. You refused to come to my wedding after trying to make me feel low for not staying with the man you knew that did all those things to me. You were mad I escaped, and you couldn't take me out. And I think you thought I forgot that you let your ex-husband essay me for years when I was a kid, and you expected me to be so slow enough to be a fool, because you always cited, honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise. If you honor your father and mother, things will go well for you, and you will have a long life on the earth. And to myself, I would cite, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger. Bring them up in the discipline and instructions of the Lord. 2 things can be true at once. Rest, Mom.